both structure and spontaneity. We all need a framework, but we also have to know when to break free and just go with the flow. And this is something you learn as you go along. If repetition sounds boring to you, rest assured, I don't mean cooking the same recipes week in, week out. Although under the many pressures of everyday life, it is easy to fall into such a rut. But the cooking relies on many repeated actions that, added up, teach us ease in the kitchen and help us acquire that instinct which too many perceive as being some innate gift. It is precisely in those many mindless, mundane, repeated actions that cooking consists of that allows it to be a means of decompression for so many of us. I have tried to meditate many times, and not always successfully. Cooking might well be the nearest I can get to a meditative act. The routine busyness of all the peeling and chopping and stirring can be a balm for the buzzing brain. So many of the kitchen activities we might dread, not because they're difficult, but because they are monotonous, peeling 2 kilos of potatoes, say, are exactly what free us up, allowing us to relax, or at least wind down a little. Of course, peeling a potato is not exactly mindless, but unless one has never peeled potatoes before, it's not something that requires hypervigilance. It's quietly absorbing. And as someone who is terminally fidgety, I am gratefully soothed by the many necessary, low-level kitchen rituals that constitute cooking. Just enough focus is required to silence that chattering monkey mind. Because one is doing something so familiar, so unthinkingly rehearsed, one isn't on high alert, but can let the senses, touch, smell, sight, sound, take over from intellect. Indeed, in all cooking, one has to learn to let the senses take over. Onions caramelizing in a pan start sounding different as they cook. A cake in the oven smells suddenly more of itself when it's ready. It takes practice to trust your senses, but essentially that's what cooking is. A practice, like doing yoga is a practice, and not a performance. I'm not saying that the kitchen is always necessarily a zen place to be, but it can be a safe space for the frenetic soul. Novice cooks shouldn't be daunted by my emphasis on the lessons taught by experience. We all have to start somewhere, and even if you're starting at the beginning, you soon learn how those small tasks and processes that you are obliged to do to get dinner on the table are transferable to the next new recipes as yet untried. For me, it is the essential repetitiveness of cooking that takes the pressure off. It's not now or never. Every day, every meal is another opportunity. And herein lies the particular joy of leftovers, when ingredients are repeated, reworked, to make something new and different. This is very much the province of the home cook, and it gives me pleasure with many of these recipes to suggest how they might be repurposed on another day or in different circumstances. Food for me is a constant pleasure. I like to think greedily about it, reflect deeply on it, learn from it. It provides comfort, inspiration, meaning and beauty, as well as sustenance and structure. More than just a mantra, cook, eat, repeat is the story of my life. What is a recipe? In writing recipes, I have had to learn another language. Indeed, my initial interest in writing about food was a linguistic one. How could I use language to convey a realm that lay so far beyond it? Simile and metaphor can often evoke the flavours of a dish, the textures the cook must aim for, so much more directly than the most rigorously precise description. A recipe has to take root in the reader's imagination. I learnt this long before I started writing about food, at a time when I never considered it a possibility, or even knew to consider it a possibility. When I was in my teens and obsessed with Aldous Huxley, I was struck by an account of a young man's first taste of champagne in Time Must Have a Stop, a book I haven't read for over 40 years, in case I find my youthful fervour be replaced with irritation.